Hello there and welcome to Cars, Drones, Computers. So today we're going to be taking a little walk around and a little tour here of my 2001 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG W210 chassis code. Go over some of its features. So starting out, I paid $2,800 for this car, so keep that in mind when you see it. This is not a mint example. It has 193,000 miles, but quite the deal for the money, as you'll see. This is powered by the 350 horsepower M113 5.4 liter V8 engine with the 5-speed automatic, and runs pretty good. So definitely a lot of car for the money, and it's also pretty quick. It has a lot of good features too. It has side and front airbags, which is pretty nice. Has cold AC, and for a $2,800 car with 350 horsepower with AC in Florida, it's quite the deal. Alright, so here looking under the hood, we have the 5.4 liter M113 non-supercharged engine, and overall it's a pretty clean engine bay. It's missing the Mercedes emblem. Those always seem to fall off after a few years. I did have to replace this cowling that runs right there and on the other side, which was only I think $40 for both pieces because it was all cracked, and I did replace, of course, the headlight lenses. But overall, other than oil change and cleaning up, I did have to do the valve covers, which that wasn't a very big deal. That was, I think, $40 for those, and cleaned up the valve covers. Going over the rest of the car, it is missing the mesh right down here for that side, which I'll get at some point, but everybody wants about $50 for that online. Oh, this is also looking at the single wiper blade, which has a pretty cool mechanism. An interesting feature of these cars. Of course, this has your just standard hydraulic brakes with the brake booster. It doesn't have the SBC system found in the later cars, so quite a bit less complication. That's really the reason I bought this car, besides just the deal. Just having less complication, I'm able to still drive a relatively quick car without having to worry about everything. Overall, it's not too bad. I did repaint the mirrors because they were chipping really bad, and one of the spots that I still need to work on is right here in the paint. You can see it's pretty rough right there. That needs to get redone. There's a few scratches and stuff. The wheels definitely have some curb rash. These are the factory 18-inch monoblocks, and tires aren't too bad. I mean, I think there's some off-brand tires, so they don't grip too great, but went ahead and replaced the tail lights with a set of smoked tail lights. And there goes a Jaguar F-Type. That sounded pretty good. I think that was the V6. Had to replace the AMG emblem too. The old one was falling off, and it was actually, I think, missing one letter, so I just replaced that. Overall, everything's in pretty good condition. For trunk size, I got a whole bunch of stuff in here. Some of my camera equipment, all my flying equipment, and my tools for work, and a subwoofer, which I fit in there. This has a little bit less space than, say, the 2006 E55 because the fuel tank sits behind the rear seat, like some vehicles do, and the newer car, actually, the fuel tank sits down low. But it's not too bad. I mounted my amp up there underneath the rear deck, and it pretty much serves its purpose. CD changer and everything's over here. Has a pretty gnarly scratches here, so I just did some touch-up paint on that. Didn't quite feel like reshooting the whole thing. Certainly can work a little bit on the rubber seals and cleaning this up. These here are actually, I think they're supposed to be black if I remember right from the factory. So if you press and hold here on the unlock button, point it right there, rolls all the windows down, which is pretty nice, especially on a hot day. So you can go ahead and air the car out before you get in there. Had to replace the headlight lenses. Oh, and I needed a new grill. So then I put about another, $400 or so in maintenance and trim pieces and things like that. So overall, quite the steal. I am going to repaint the little jack covers down there on the side skirt. That's one thing left I still need to do. So let's go ahead and have a look on the inside, and let's go over some of the features in here. So here we are sitting inside. As you can see, I started to wrap carbon fiber vinyl all the way here along the center console. I've not got that wood trim piece or the side door. I started up here a little bit, and I got the seat controls, but I still got to do the door, and I haven't tore all this stuff apart. This old wood here never seems to age very well, and I also need to still do this little cup holder door. Coolant gauge, fuel gauge, speedometer intact, and then you have a screen in the center which can display speed or any kind of information. On the right side here you'll see a clock and what gear you're in, and then over here you have temperature. Looking over here, some of these switches, we got heated seats. This is for the headlight washer, You have power pop-down rear headrests in the back seats, of course your hazard, your door lock button, anti-tow alarm feature, and then the passenger side heated seat. Got a whole bunch of buttons here on the HVAC system. Of interesting note here, the rest button is for once you turn off the car, you can get heat for about 30 minutes out of it. EC is economy mode, so that's just your regular no AC on. Right here, if you want to run everything through your activated charcoal filter, you can do that, which is kind of an interesting button to have as an extra feature. This has got the command system, and it even has a feature where you can pull this stock right here on the next to the steering wheel, which activates the microphone, and you can tell it to play next track and things like that. And if you had a phone hooked up to it, which I don't, but if you did, you could use that to also run those things. Of course, down here is your window switches. This is your window lock for the back. Here's your traction control button, on or off. This is your wet mode, and then your standard mode right here. And then you can also shift left and right. This car doesn't have paddle shifters like the newer E55. Right here is a super overcomplicated cup holder. So you just push down right here on this button. It has a cup holder right there, and then there's another cup holder right down here. Put the cup holder back, you need to squeeze both sides and then push it back down until it stays. This is for your air seat controls, for lumbar control and everything like that. I have not got this to work yet. The air pump resides underneath the rear seat next to the battery, so that's something I'll probably look into. I have a check engine light because I need to replace the mass airflow sensor, so nothing to worry there. One thing it doesn't have is automatic headlights, which I wish it had, but I mean, it's got voice activated command here. Let's go ahead and start that. So that works pretty good. And then if I just pull this lever, next track, and there it goes. Next track has happened. I'm not touching anything. You see I didn't touch the radio. There it's gonna go. I'll pull the lever again. Next track, and there it goes again. So anyways, that's kind of a cool feature to have for a 2001 car. Other than that, let me go ahead and put on the climate control. Of course, it's got dual zone automatic climate control, which is really nice. I put the recert on. It's already warm out today. It says 74. I don't buy it. I did take the filters, the cabin filter out of this thing. They were super nasty. I recommend if you get any of these W210, W211, really any vehicle that you ever buy, go ahead and either replace or take out the in-cabin filter, because wow, was it nasty. It's one of the worst I've seen. I think they were the original factory ones from 2001, and wow, the AC blows so much harder now too. It's amazing. Also, I forgot to tell you, there is a button over here so you can have the power rear sunshade just like that. There we go. And it works pretty well. So that's really helpful when you got that truck right behind you with their brights on. When I bought the car, it had a hot start issue. So it would start fine when you first started up, but then after you go to Walmart, let it sit in the parking lot for 5 to 10 minutes, then it wouldn't start. So you basically have to crank it, shut it off, and crank it again, and then it would start, which I later identified to be the fuel pump. So then I replaced the fuel pump and still had the issue. I thought it was the crankshaft position sensor, thought it was the cam position sensor. I changed a whole bunch of things, basically did the tune-up and everything. And then even after I replaced the fuel pump, it worked fine for about a day, and then the next day it was having an issue again. Well, comes to find out, I actually had a faulty replacement fuel pump. So then I got another fuel pump, and now it's been fine. It starts first time every time, and starts really well. So definitely have the reliability factor back up there. Also went ahead and changed the transmission fluid and the filter, which God only knows when the last time that was changed. So went ahead and got that little bit of preventative maintenance done. But as far as things that don't work on the car, the sunroof doesn't work, which probably has that problem that most of the W210s have. So maybe at some point I'll tear it apart and work on that, but it's really not a requirement for me. It's so hot here in Florida. The last thing I usually end up doing is actually throwing open a sunroof, because I'd much rather have the AC on. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of performance testing. At some point I'll do the draggy GPS meter, but for now I'm just going to go out, hit the brake, and then just go ahead and mash it to the floor so you can see how it accelerates. So that's pretty good. So that pretty much wraps up my overview here of my 2001 E55 AMG. And let me know down in the comments below if there's something you'd like to know more about, or if you'd like me to do certain things with it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Cars, Drones, Computers. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this and many other different things that I do. And have a great day. Bye for now.